Murphy's Builder Supply is where you need to go for all your home improvement projects and hardware needs. They've been serving folks in this area since 1946. Murphy's offers some products and services that you may not know about. They now sell ammunition, both bullets and shells. Murphy's also sells personalized tags for dog collars. They build customized screens for windows and doors. Murphy's can rekey locks, and of course they can make keys. They cut glass for windows, plus Murphy's has monthly doorbuster specials. Check their Facebook page to see what's on sale. Murphy's Builder Supply, 156 Northeast Broad Street, Jessup.
At Broadhurst Landfill, keeping our communities safe is the most important thing we do. Our local team of environmental managers, engineers, and scientists ensure that the long-term management of the landfill is safe for our workers, customers, and the environment. To learn more, visit our website at www.broadhurstlandfill.com, or you can go to the website, click Visit Us, and sign up for a tour to see firsthand how we operate. We hope to see you soon.
Jessup Premium Storage, 1455 South First Street is Jessup's best place to store your valuables. Whether it's furniture between moves or just a place for the overload, call Jessup Premium Storage at 530-8003. That's 530-8003. Jessup Premium Storage units are indoors, climate controlled, and they have 24-hour surveillance and on-site management. You have 24-hour, 7-day-a-week access to your unit. Sizes range from 5x5 to 10x25. They also have outside covered and uncovered spaces available for vehicles, boats, trailers, and RVs. Jessup Premium Storage on the Waycross Highway in Jessup.
January brought record-breaking cold, but the sales here at Mike Birch Ford were smoking hot. So now we've got to move this pre-owned inventory. We've got a great selection of clean one-owner vehicles as low as $150 a month. Stop the search. Call Mike Birch or at MikeBirchFord.com. When we say right on the corner and right on the price, we mean it at Mike Birch Ford. Right now, up to $11,000 off 2018 F-150s, up to $6,000 off 2018 Mustangs, and up to $15,000 off remaining 2017 Expeditions. Stop the search. Call Mike Birch.
It's time for the world-famous Butch and Bob Show on WIFO-FM, brought to you by Murphy's Builder Supply, Republic Services, Jessup Premium Storage, and Mike Birch Ford in Blackshear.
Hey, good morning, everyone. Time now for the world-famous Butch and Bob Show. As we told you, County Commissioner Ralph Hickok's in studios with us. Ralph, always good to see you. Appreciate you coming in.
Thank you for inviting me.
Appreciate you accepting the invitation. Apparently, some people don't want to take the invitation. I told you, you've been on the show many times, right?
You've let me on. Well, yes, I've been here a pile of times. I just about have a name plaque.
I tell people all the time, everybody's invited. They're out there, they just refuse to accept the invitation. But as I asked you again, have you ever been treated unfairly on the show?
No.
So we appreciate you coming in. As we mentioned, qualifying gets underway March 5th, and you're basically here to announce that you are seeking re-election. Is that correct?
That's correct. I plan on running for another 4 years.
In what district?
5th District. That's basically the southern part of Jessup and part of the western side of Jessup. A little bit of the county.
I understand. I talked to all the commissioners at the meeting. Most have indicated they are seeking re-election. Haven't really heard anybody else running for re-election for the county commission seats at this time. Have you heard anybody's name out there?
No, just the incumbents.
Right.
I understand all the incumbents are going to run, but I mean, that's their announcement. Not mine.
Right. I mean, they may, but like I said, qualifying takes place March 5th through the 9th, so we'll see who decides to run. I know several school board members have indicated they're not seeking re-election, but some are. Haven't really heard any names out there for that position either. So I say all the time, if you're going to run. You know, I don't know why it's a deep, dark secret, so we haven't heard from anybody. So, again, if anybody's out there running, we'd like to get the announcement on there as quickly as possible. So if you're out there seeking a position and going to run, just give us a call. We'll get that on.
Well, last time I come out kind of late. I waited till like the week of, and I wound up running a pretty long, if you remember the race, it was a pretty long race. So I was thinking, well, let me come out early this time, go ahead and announce it, and let's see what happens that way. But the big thing was with running was I felt like I could help. You know, the county has a lot of problems right now. It's not problems that started yesterday. It's not a problem that started the last 3 years. We've got problems that's been going on for a long time. Some business has not done the way it should be done. And I feel like I can help, and I have helped, to correct some of that. And that's why I want the opportunity to serve my district again, is to be able to continue what I'm trying to accomplish, which is to improve the service to Wayne County, the accountability, transparency, those things that I have very much, you mentioned about coming on here. You know I have. You know I've been very transparent. There's never been a time you've made a phone call to me that I didn't answer, and it might not be the answer you want to hear from me or that you thought I might say, but I would answer, and I'm almost too honest sometimes, I guess. But I think that's what the people expect. I think that's what I have an obligation to do, is to answer to them, and I think most people can respect that, and that's why I do that.
Well, one thing you've been open about, even when you ran, you're like me, and this tax anticipation note just seems to bother me for some reason.
Yes.
The school board doesn't borrow money to operate. The city doesn't borrow money to operate. But every year the county has to borrow money in a tax anticipation note just to make ends meet. And it went from 4.5 to 6.5 right away this year. So and it's not decreasing, where for several years it was decreasing by $500,000.
Yeah.
Now it's up to $6.5 million. So I know you're dead set against it.
Yes,
how do we get out of this situation, and where do you see the light at the end of the tunnel? I mean, it jumped up $2 million this year, and whereas in the last several years it was decreasing by $500,000.
But it wasn't really decreasing. That's the thing. It's a facade. I ran against the TAN, and the two budgets that I've been a part of, we budgeted money to. In the expenditures, we had budgeted to try to lower the TAN. One time $1.25 million, the other $1.75. But at the end of the year, the revenues didn't come in that was anticipated by the administrator, so the money wasn't there to be able to apply to the TAN. And the thing about the TAN, the people don't know, we use a lot of acronyms. TAN is a tax anticipation note, like you just said, and it's basically a payday loan or a loan until we get our taxes in. That's what it is. Our fiscal year is a little different than most counties and state. It runs from January to January, where most run from July to July. So we start spending money on county government in January. The digest don't even come in till probably July, I think, sometime in then. We set the millage July, August, some we're there. The money's collected in December. So you got all that amount of time in which you're spending money in which the taxes are not even set till July or August. And so the tax anticipation note is something they used to borrow money until it came in. Now, in a perfect world, and what any business would do, you would try to have money in reserves to cover that, not borrow until it came in. But this has been something that's been going on for a long time. I sat down with John Swingle this week, and we were discussing politics and budget, and he told me he's been here in politics for 30 years and that the county's been doing it that long. So, yeah, I'm absolutely dead set against it, but it's not something we're going to get rid of overnight. You mentioned about how it went down and come back up, but here's the thing. The digest is our revenue. It's our main source of revenue. Now, we get money from the state. We got sales tax and different things we get money from, but ultimately our mainstay of our revenue source is our digest. And the digest has either shrunk or has stayed flat for at least the last 10 years. But I think everybody knows every year you're going to give the employees a raise. You can't control the fact that the power bill goes up, the insurances go up. So your cost of doing business every year has went up some. Well, if your cost of business every year goes up some, but your revenue stays flat, you can do what you want to, saying I'm lowering the TAN, but at the end of if you lower it, you're probably just kicking the rock down the road by shifting money around. Because if the revenue is less than what the expenditures are, it's going to create a gap, and that's what's happening. And the gap has continued. And the only way you'll come out of that is you've either got to find a way to increase your revenue, either by raising the taxes or by hoping that you have some new business or that would create some new tax revenues. Or you're hoping the sales tax may go up. Maybe we'll get some different revenue from the state. So you either have to hope for more revenue in some kind of way like that, or you have to make cuts in the budget. Well, now currently our current budget that we have out right now is, I believe we said at 23.7, if I'm not mistaken. The expected revenues is only a little over 20. That's a $2.1 million shortfall. How are you going to make that up? You're going to have to cut. Well, how do you cut that much out of the budget? If you do that, you're going to be drastically cutting services, cutting jobs. So there's a line of what you're going to do. I mean, the people they demand services for their government, and we're going to have to provide that. So we have some really tough challenges this year to face. And as you mentioned, the TAN, I cannot stand the fact we have to borrow, and I want to fix that, but we have to fix revenue. That's one of the biggest things, that and your expenditures.
But it's just a year loan, right? You have to pay it at the end of the year. Yeah, I know the bank gives a better interest rate than they give an individual, but what's the interest on a $6.5 million loan? What's that ballpark figure?
It's over $1 million. It's pretty low comparatively, But any money,
So you're borrowing 6.5, going to have to pay 7.5 at the end of the year.
Yeah, but like I said, paying any money to borrow money
so
to wait till you is bad.
That's what I get to. You can't borrow your way out of debt. You're losing $1 million on the tax anticipation note alone, just on the interest.
But you're not going to fix it either by doing nothing with your revenues and with your expenditures. So that's got to be fixed there.
Again, if you just joined us, Ralph Hickok's in the studios with us on the Butch and Bob Show. Speaking of interest, the big story, and the reason I really got you in here, and we're going to clarify this right off the bat, you can't discuss personnel because it will get in legal problems. But the big story came out with the school board meeting when the superintendent announced that they just got blindsided by this bill that they have to pay. The amount for the school system was $340,846. Again, that's the school system's part of a $562,042 on what they said was a assessment of timberland company Plum Creek, but now known as Weyerhaeuser. But the question that everybody keeps asking, the question that hasn't been answered, is it just popped up 4 years after the fact. This was supposedly settled 4 years ago, but nobody notified anybody. The county commissioners say they were not notified. The school superintendent says they were not notified. And the fact that it sat there wherever for 4 years, the interest alone is close to $75,000. So the superintendent wasn't very happy at the meeting, and I'll just read you some of his statements that we had on the news in the past. It says the assessor says it is what it is. That's the best it's going to be. County administrator says this is unacceptable. It would be fixed. In the meantime, we have no control or say so. We only owe the money and somehow must magically budget an amount each year for this way of doing business with the county who charges us 2.5% to levy and collect taxes. This financial impact forces us to take away from our children of our county, put on hold major projects such as the track, weight room, art teachers, AP classes, and more. Another one where we're doing homework to present a plan to the board to build a new ag barn facility for our ag program that has officially been postponed at least 1 extra year. This is very disappointing, and my hopes are one day the leaders of this community can figure out a plan of action to fix this problem that continues year after year after year. This affects everyone. So again, do you have the answer as to why it just came to light 4 years after the fact?
Surprised us the same way, Bob. We made our budget 2 months ago. We had no idea this was coming down the pipe. Now, I agree with Jay Brinson. There's no excuse why we did not know. It didn't magically appear. It didn't magically appear overnight, and that is gonna be answered to. I can tell you that will be answered to, because we can't budget just like Jay can't budget. We can't either. We have $23 million worth of budget. We already got enough problems, and the last thing we need is to be surprised at the last second by something like that. And there's going to be some accountability on that. Now, we mentioned a minute ago that, to begin with, the assessor's office, those are all county employees. The assessor himself is a county employee. A lot of people don't understand how all that makeup works. The assessor is appointed, and it works directly for a board, which is a board that we appoint. The county commission has 5 appointments, 1 for each district. Each commissioner has an appointment, and the appointments last 4 years, and the assessor works directly for him. So we don't have direct management authority over the assessor, but we do make those appointments. I'm not going to point the finger if that's. We talked about the other day, and I told you that I'm not going to point the finger at someone else. The Wayne County Commissioners is the governing authority of Wayne County. Of course, the constitutional officers, with all due respect, they have areas in which they're responsible for that we're not in control of. But in general, we are the governing authority. We're elected to that. I'm not going to shirk that responsibility. The buck stops with us, and I accept that. We're going to have to deal with it because I can tell you I have one appointment. I made it last year. I'm satisfied with my appointment. I feel like he's done what I've asked him to do, but we do have to. It's going to have to get fixed. It's going to get fixed, and I'm going to, for my part, I'm going to do what 1/5 part I have to see to it that either that gets fixed or throw me out.
Everybody keeps saying it's going to get fixed, but you can't fix if you don't identify what the problem is.
You know what the problem
Everybody
is.
knows what the logistics is on those 2 offices. They're 5 feet across the hallway.
Yes, sir.
I mean, where did it go in 4 years? Did it drive to Savannah and get lost? I mean, and I've talked to a lot of people. I've talked to 2 Board of Assessor members they both say they really didn't know what was going on. They have a meeting today. I talked to the tax commissioner. I've talked to the tax assessor. They both have stories, and they both talked off the record, but the two stories are like as far apart as the moon and the sun. I mean,
I've
it's
heard
not
the same stories, Bob, and I can't.
So that's the frustrating thing is, how did it just come to light? And 77,000 is interest alone, because no one. I mean, and like I said, everybody says they don't want to point fingers and throw people on the bus. The discussions I've had, there's a lot of people getting fingers pointed at and getting thrown under the bus. But I'm just asking you as a county commissioner, have you gotten the answer yet as to why this came to light 4 years after the fact? Do you have a...
Pretty much, yeah. But again, I'm not going to get into speculation of what is between two departments. But you know, I've done the same thing you've done. I went and spoke to those individuals too to see what the chain, how it happened. I'm frustrated.
Did
we all are frustrated.
Did you get to two different stories?
Yeah. I'm frustrated about the fact that we did not get that information. The school board didn't. I had to listen to Jay for about 45 minutes, and I understand. He called me upset, and he should be. But at the same time, from ours, we just heard it too. All I can do from this point is tell you that I don't agree with the communication. It did not happen, and we are addressing it, and it's going to be handled.
And to add to this story, there's this discussion about this property called Altamaha Bluff, that there's more to come, that this isn't just the first check. There's going to have to be another check written. So explain what Altamaha Bluff is and how much money is that going to cost everybody? Well,
possibly. You know, I've researched that especially in the last few days. And there's not a clear answer at this point about that.
Apparently, it controls Wayne and Glenn. There's
it does,
land in both, and there's supposedly the lawyers are involved with that now.
And our attorneys haven't gave us a clear picture on that yet. I mean, it's gone from it's going to be nothing to could potentially be a lot. It's on the same line as the and that's in litigation, so I'm limited what I can talk about. But it's on the same lines as the Rainier and the. Plum Creek, it's an evaluation issue, very similar with timber evaluation, and so it's kind of become an avalanche. So once the first case was won, then there's Plum Creek. Now this is coming right behind it. There's a little bit different circumstances behind this than the other two, and I really can't discuss that part of it. But we don't know just how much this is going to be, or if it could be anything. It's going to take a little time on that. We're getting a summer brief on it this week, so I can't talk about a whole lot. I don't know as much until I hear the summer brief.
Let's move on. Like I said, let's go to just got a new county administrator. Like I said, I understand his communication between the commissioners has been pretty good, so I'm sure you talked to him. But his comment here, and like I said, he's agreed to come on the show. Hopefully get him after the superintendent. The superintendent's coming on Monday. Hopefully get Ed after that. But his comment that says this is unacceptable, it's going to be fixed. Yeah. Has he relayed that to you? I mean, has he said?
We all were talking about that, yes.
Do you feel confident it'll be fixed?
Absolutely. Look, we didn't hire Ed Jeffries because he's pretty. No, we hired him because he's a numbers. It's true. He's a numbers guy, numbers grasp, and that's particularly what I was after. I wanted someone who is going to do the numbers, who's going to have a plan, who's going to plot a course, who's going to be disciplined to stick to it regardless. That's Ed Jeffers, and I'm very confident in our hire there. He's a local guy who has a vested interest in our community. He's at the football games. He's at the baseball games. He loves Wayne County. He has a vested interest in our county, and he's going. The one reason for the 6.7 going up on the 10 was because he didn't want to be in a situation. You understand, that's not money we actually borrowed. It's more of a line of credit. If we don't need to use it, we're not going to use it. But he wanted to know that he had the ability to do what has to be done. If we have to pay this, we're not going to be going to the bank afterwards, and it's a low interest rate for this. But he wanted the flexibility to have cash flow to do what he needed to do to make hard decisions. And I've got confidence we got the right man in the job right there, and I believe you're going to see. Over the course of time, you're going to see us come out of that.
2 major moves have been made since he's taken. Yes. You got a new road department supervisor, Buddy Starlin, new rec director or interim director at this time. Your thoughts on those moves? And
it was decisions that need to be made, both of them. Again, those are personnel issues, so I can't get into those, but both of them are decisions that need to be made.
Well, I told you that on the phone that, moves can be made, but the question is, are we better? Do you feel we're better?
Yes. Yes, the rec parks never look better. Carl did a great job with the fields. They look great. I mean, anybody goes out there, it doesn't take a science rocket to figure that out. That the ballparks look tremendous. They did, in the past. And as far as the road departments, we almost get no kind of complaints. Very seldom we get complaints on the roads. And if you recall, we had 3 hurricanes. One of them tore us up really good, and within by the next day, I mean, we had all major county roads open. Man, we've got a great road department. So kudos to them.
Another thing that's been done recently, the consolidation of the voting precincts, which I'm surprised no one objected to it at all. I mean, most people believe it's going to be a cost saving. So we're going from 14 to 7. So your thoughts on that? You think that's a good move? Yeah,
honestly, and I know I give objection about this, but everybody now votes early. You got 3 weeks to vote. They'd even throw one on a Saturday. I would, as far as I'm concerned, if they had one, it would be fine. It'd save a lot of money. I know that's not going to happen.
Yeah, that's what I said too. I said, why not just everybody vote?
Nobody
save all kinds of money.
Well, it was a time back in the days when you had horse and buggies, and you couldn't drive but so far in a day and all that. But at this point, I mean, everybody has a car for the most part, and you're talking about 3 weeks to get to a voting place, and when you're talking about what it costs to man those voting precincts during that time, it's expensive, y'all.
What other ways do you see the county trying to save money? I know, like I said, Ed's got a plan. Like I said, I know they talked about the judicial system. They formed a committee. I don't believe that's committee's met yet.
That's a big one. I mean, you got to realize that 70% of our budget roughly is fixed. This stuff, we have a mandate to fund our constitutional officers to do their jobs, and it's a little bit back and forth with us, and we work really well together. But our job is to fund them to adequately do their constitutional job, and that's somewhat out of our control, and the legal side of it is like 50% between the courts and all. There's not much we can cut out of that. So you're talking about 30% roughly you can cut. So it limits what you can do. But some of the things is obviously the judicial. We're hoping to gain about 5 to 10% savings there. And then just really going through the line by line through the budget, which we've been doing, and trying to find places we can save. But it's not just savings that we're looking for. We're looking for growth. What can we do with the counties that will help create revenue? And so those are things we're looking to as well.
Another $64,000 question people ask all the time. I know there's been committees, people have discussed it, but funding is the big issue. People still asking the future of a pool. Yeah. Where do you see that going?
Well, I want to back up. So apparently everybody, I assume, sometimes because we're involved in it, we assume everybody knows the whole detail on stuff. When this first came about, we had the rec department came to us and said, the health department has told us that we're going to do something about the pool because it's we can't maintain the chemicals in it. It was losing water to the point that the chemicals couldn't be put in fast enough to keep it safe to swim in, and so that became an issue. Well, first to begin with, we're talking about leaking water and chemicals, and we got with a few contractors about possibly patching the leaks, see if we could do something, get them through summer, and that conversation proceeded on. But then it came to our attention, well, we were losing about 3,000 gallons of water a day. Well, if you've been by Cracker Williams, it weren't running 3,000 gallons of water a day was not running out on the street. So the question is, where was 3,000 gallons of water a day going? And the fear became, and we had some tests done, if it's going, maybe it's going under the pool and creating a cavity. But if you got a sinkhole underneath your pool, that could be tragic. And there were some cavities under the pool. And so the closing the pool had a lot to do with that. Now, I'm not saying it couldn't be ultimately fixed, but at that time, safety of our citizens became more important than that. So that's why it was closed and sand was put in it.
Well, no pool company would guarantee the work.
Not at all, right.
I'm Butch Hubbard. I'm back in here with you this morning. I appreciate Jonathan sitting in for me. Ralph Hickok's commissioner in here this morning. Did I hear you a moment say that Ed Jeffers is pretty?
I said we did not hire him because he's pretty.
Oh, okay. Well, I didn't know what you said there. I was just trying to clarify that.
No. We chose him because he's a numbers guy. And
he's a numbers guy.
Very good at that.
Okay, just want to clarify
not
that.
Not very good looking, man.
What about about the future pool?
Future pool. We got Herschel Hires is our point guy. He's working on that, and we're trying to work with other municipalities, and we're working with the business and grants, and it's going to be a pool. It's going to take some time. The county, the city, nobody has the money to dump in to build it. It's going to be expensive. I think the location they're talking about, I don't know if I'm throwing it out there to say this, I shouldn't, but they're thinking about the old high school, which still keeps it in town. It'd be a good location.
Yeah, Bob mentioned that the other day.
Great,
I think that's a good idea.
I do too. I see it's going to happen. We're going to keep at it until it happens. But we've got a lot of fish to clean.
Well, again, we appreciate you coming in. Like I said, wish you the best of luck in the campaign.
We'd like to say something if you give
Sure. Go right ahead. We got 5 more minutes, Ralph. Go ahead and talk. Because I know that the main reason you came on was to announce for re-election, but you also knew coming in that we were going to ask you questions about what's going on with the county.
Absolutely. And I told you from day one when I ran that I would be accessible like that, and I have been.
And you have been.
I just want to give a little analogy about what's going to take to fix it. I'm a big boy. And I've let this thing go on for a long time. And I've been since January. I've been going to a trainer, he's working the stew out of me. And I would have loved the first time I went to Jose, and he worked the fool out of me and had me sweating and spitting and everything. I'd have loved to went and jump on the scale and been 170. But it just don't work that way.
Takes a while.
It takes a while. It didn't happen overnight. It's not going to come off overnight. I've lost about 33 pounds so far. But
congratulations.
My points, thank you. And it's going to take some discipline and time to fix that. But the county's no different, y'all. This didn't happen in 3 years. Didn't happen in 5 years. Didn't happen in 10. Some of these issues that we're dealing with that's got us to here was kicking the rock down the road for 20 years or plus on some of them. And it's things just like the 10. 10's been going on for a long time. And it's not gonna be fixed overnight. We hired a numbers guy because we wanted to plot a plan to fix it, and I hope people will be patient with us. That it's probably going to be painful at times because we have to find a way to fix the budget right now. But we are going to fix the problem, the entire problem, but it's going to take time to do that. And if we stay disciplined and we stay focused on that, and the county commission works together with the constitutional officers and the cities in Wayne County, we can make this a great place. It already is a great place. I love Wayne County, but we can make it a better place.
Speaking of the budget, the big fear, is based on a $3 million increase. Are we still looking at a $3 million increase when they do the budget next year?
Bob, that's what was voted on. I mean, put it like it is. I mean, I voted against it. And the reason, and we go there, that I said earlier that the budget's set on around $23 million, $23.7 million, and the expected revenue is only $20 million. There's a gap there. Mill's worth about $700,000, so you're looking at 3 mills if that's the case. Now, Ed's doing everything he can between now and then to try to cut, to try to narrow that down as much as possible. But, yeah, that's where it's looking at. Now, yes, I voted against it, but the main reason I voted against it, I wanted to go more line by line by line. I'm kind of a micromanager. Anybody that knows me, that's part of being in business. I'm used to looking at every detail of my business. A lot of people are more into management. Different commissioners have different mindsets about how to run stuff like that. Some like to do more of management. Like, well, let Ed take care of it. We do trust Ed. We hired him for that reason. Me, I'm more like I want to look over his shoulder and see what he's doing. But that's a personality thing. But I do have confidence we're going to get to where we're trying to get. But as of right now, yeah, there's no way around it.
Okay. Ralph Hickok's in this morning announcing for running for re-election for county commission. I guess that will be in November. Will that be correct?
Well, if it goes all the way, yeah.
Yeah, if it goes all the way, it'll be at that particular time. And so him announcing for re-election. Also, Bob had some really good questions for him this morning about what's going on with the county commission. As you mentioned, we'll have Dr. Jay Brinson here on Monday. And Ed Jeffers is supposed to come in sometime soon. A lot of sides to this issue, and something that I know that Bob's been reporting on for the last many years about the situations with the county. And hopefully the current county commissioners and Ed Jeffers and the department heads can get together and get this thing in line, along with all the tax people, and have open communication so everybody knows what everybody's doing. For the betterment of the citizens of Wayne County. Bob, anything else?
No, just again, I appreciate you accepting the invitation coming in. Like I said, and I tell people all the time, if your commissioner or whoever isn't on the show, it's not because they haven't been invited, it's because they refused the invitation. So I don't know why they refused the invitation. That's what this show is all about, is to get as much information out there as possible. I think you coming in and answering questions does that. And like I said, I appreciate you accepting the invitation. Hope others would follow suit, but I tell people all the time, everybody's invited to come on the show.
Yeah.
Just remember,
everybody's invited.
It's not to come make a speech. It's come to answer questions.
County.
Right.
Yeah.
I think I both know enough to know this, that one, I'm transparent, and two, I'm going to do what I say I'm going to do, whether somebody likes that or not. I try to stand by what I say, and that's why I hope that someone would consider supporting me for another 4 years, because you can depend on what I'm going to say and what I'm going to do. I don't run from the truth. You know, anytime you've called me, I'm here.
You're here every time we've asked you.
That's right. It would have been a lot easier for me to not come to this, but because I knew you was going to ask a lot of tough questions. It was not, you didn't throw any softballs at me, and I didn't expect any softballs. You know, when I run for the position, I knew that was the way it was. You have to deal with some hard questions, some hard situations, and I accept that responsibility, good or bad. And sometimes it is. Sometimes I wonder, early on especially, because early on, it was pretty rough. I mean, we started out with the DuPont thing, and then we had a commissioner die within 30 days of taking office, and then right after that, we lost an administrator, and there was one thing after the pools one. The assessor's office failed an audit from the state revenue department. I mean, it's been on and on and on, and we lost $6.6 million in funding on FLIPA because of that audit, which we finally went back and we were able to collect. It's just been one thing after another, but we have dealt with the issues all throughout that, and I feel like I have something to offer the county. I feel like I can help.
I just want to say one more thing about the show. Like I said, you said when I talked to you, said, "Why do some people not come?" You said you feel like they say like it's we're not a gotcha kind of show. I mean, like this, I tell people, this is not 60 Minutes. We're not Washington Post. We're just a local radio show to try to get as much information out there as we possibly can. But I tell people all the time, the reason Johnny Isaacson calls in and the reason our state representatives call in, people like that, Congressman Carter call in, they don't call in because they like Bob Morgan. They call in because they realize how many people out there listening, and they can get their message out to those people listening. That's why they call in and come on the show. And I think anybody who's been on the show understands how many people do listen to the show, because they tell me about the feedback they get once they come on the show. But we're not out to get people. We're just out to get as much information out there as we possibly can to the people that are tuned in each day. And we appreciate everybody tuned in each day to listen to the world-famous Butch and Bob Show. And, again, I just appreciate you coming and accepting the invitation. And, again, I extend that invitation to any commissioner, any school board member, any administrator, any city manager. And I appreciate School Superintendent Jay Brinson's coming Monday. Like I said, Ed Jeffers already accepted the invitation. He's going to come as soon as his schedule allows it. So we appreciate those people coming in and being on the show, because, again, that's the reason we have the show, is to just get as much information out there as we possibly can. So, again, I do appreciate you coming in and answering the questions.
The baseball part, but it's just like with I told you I didn't expect any softballs. I'm not a warm fuzzy bear. People don't call me that,
right.
and you don't throw a bunch of softballs, and maybe that part of it, because you throw a lot of hard balls.
Well, I tell people, I said, look, we're going to ask questions. It's not coming in and make a speech. It's a question-answer session. I mean, that's what this show is. We ask questions. We look for answers. So, but we do give you the time to answer the question. Yes. And like I said, that's why I asked you at the beginning of the show, have you ever been treated unfairly? And the answer is no. I mean, you're coming in, and while you're coming in to answer questions and get as much information out there as you possibly can to the people tuned in. So, again, I just appreciate you accepting the invitation and coming in and talking about this issue, because to me it's a big story. The fact that it sat there for 4 years and no one seems to know why, and I still don't have the answer. Hopefully one day we'll get the answer.
Well, as I mentioned to Ralph before we came on the air, us being media people, along with the newspaper, where we're taught, University of Georgia and other places, public has a right to know what's going on with their government. And we want officials on the air to say, this is what's happening. And we appreciate you coming on and telling us what's happening.
It's our obligation to do that.
Yeah. All right, Ralph Hickok's in this morning. Thank you very much, Commissioner.
You're very welcome.
All right, WIFO 105.5 FM in Jessup, Big Dog Country Radio, world-famous Butch and Bob Show, brought to you by Republic Services, by Murphy Builder Supply, located on Northeast Broad Street in downtown Jessup, next to the big red caboose, and also brought to you by Jessup Premium Storage out here on the Waycross Highway, and also brought to you by Mike Birch Ford in Blackshear. 105.5 FM in Jessup, Big Dog Country, WIFO. The time now is 8:34. And let's take a quick look at news, hopefully. Yeah, a quick look at news from Fox News Radio.
He was there, he was armed, but he didn't fire back. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News.
There are no words.
Broward County Sheriff Scott Israel, after finding out one of his deputies who had a gun, was in position at the high school in Parkland, Florida, right outside as the shots were being fired, but did not go in. Israel says he's
devastated, sick to my stomach.
He suspended the deputy without pay, and then Scott Peterson retired. Andrew Klein.